All right. What's up, Phil? What's up, Ben? Oh, you set me up for failure right now, Ben. I apologize for my voice, y'all. Been yelling, supporting basketball, so my voice is a little bit gone, but it is what it is. I can still talk though, so I feel good. Hey, I appreciate Phil and Ben y'all coming on this thing early. Look, y'all, I'm not an installer. I'm not a whiteboard person, but we're gonna try to get this done. We're gonna see if we can get this done. All right. So, as I think Elliot asked me today to go over Tampa 2. So what we're gonna do is, and I kind of put us in a base. Our base is 3-4 because I thought you guys would want to get an idea of how we run it potentially. And honestly, y'all, I don't know exactly how we run cover 2, but I know the cover 2 concepts. So we are going to go over today. We are going to go over regular old school cover 2, which a lot of people ran in high school and probably little league, where it's real basic and simple. Then we're gonna go into some. Then we're gonna describe a little Tampa 2, and then we're gonna go into what I think is the calculus of defensive back coverage. I think 2 reads. Some people call it palms. Some people call it. Some people call it cover 7. But cover 2 read is a coverage that, in my opinion, definitely in high school, where you can run that and only run that. And the reason why is because of the key word is read. That means we are reading what the route combination of the offense is. So therefore, that cover 2 can turn into many coverages. So I'm glad that you guys on the poll, the majority of people pick cover 2. Because for me, cover 3 is cool. Cover 3 is really cool, especially when you want to get in the run game, get an extra guy in the box, and have a more of a effect on the run game to me, because you get a safety down. But I think cover 4 is even a better option to get 2 safeties in the box, in theory. But then it's a read concept. So I'm all over the place right now, but cover 4 to me is the creme de la creme of coverages. But you can't run cover 4 if you don't know cover 2, in my opinion. Cover 2 read. Because this cover 2 read can turn into cover 4. It can turn into cover 6, which is a combo coverage of cover 2 and cover 4. I know I'm saying a lot, but I want you guys to kind of get the terminology. So we're just gonna go with the flow. I don't go into things with a plan, with a template or all that stuff. Never did. Even when I got inducted to my school Hall of Fame, I didn't have a speech at all. I just off the cuff. I think I'm more authentic with the off the cuff, even though I might miss something. I'm not robotic. So, as you guys know, in cover 2, in Tampa 2, and 2 read / palm / cover 7, I'm gonna call it 2 read. If you're a coach and y'all like to call it palms, you could call it cover 7. I'm gonna call it 2 read. All right. As we have talked about, if you have watched me for the last few years or this year or whatever, I hope you understand the underneath zones. Because to me, the underneath zones are more important than anything else. Because that's where most of the passes are actually completed, is in the underneath zones. So again, there's a flat, there's a curl. Oop, y'all, I was in a hurry. Like I said, I had these basketball games. So there's a hook. and there's a hook, right? So flat, curl, hook. Then the same thing on the other side. So in essence, there's 6 underneath zones, all right? In cover 2, the weak spots are these 3 areas. These are the weak spots. For example, the corner route, that's a weak spot. That's a dead area. Let's see this. Or in essence, anything that ventures in the middle of the field. Because in cover 2, the basis of cover 2 is these safeties got to get off the hash and cover half the field. So therefore, we'll open up the middle because they got to get off the hash if you're playing regular cover 2 or even Tampa cover 2. So what I'm going to do, y'all, I didn't even say this. What I'm going to do is we're going to go on the board for some of the time. And since I had that all 22 in this game, we're going to actually show, I'm going to try to show how cover 2 will work against some of these pass formations. So then you can kind of get an idea of, in real life situations, how, because I don't remember the routes. I don't know if I'm going to just show it here because it kind of gets a little congested with these guys on the field. I don't know if I'm just going to watch the route combinations. Then we're going to go on to the whiteboard and replicate it, or we're going to try to do it here. I don't know. You guys and girls can tell me as we go because I'm doing it for you guys. So you guys can tell me if you like it here or we can go back to the whiteboard. All right, so in theory, the simplistic cover 2 is the corner supposed to have a flat. Corner, I hate this thing sometimes. Y'all, I'm learning whiteboard. Corner has flat. We're supposed to go hook. Well, let me scratch that because it's 4-3. So let's say this guy comes. So then we're gonna go hook, deep middle, or in the middle. He's not gonna go deep middle and regular. All right. So we got flat, hook, because in theory, the curl is gonna probably be handled by the safety sometimes. So we got hook to seam. These linebackers have hook to seam. So if this guy runs a vertical, he's gonna stay underneath that seam route. They're supposed to stay underneath the seam route to help these safeties that go into the deep halves. So to make the quarterback have to elevate the ball and they can break on the ball and either make a big hit or potentially pick the ball off. So that's in theory in cover 2. So the thing about cover 2, right? You're going to have 4 of the zones covered. But if it's in the boundary, remember when I said in the boundary, let's say he comes, flat, hook, wrong guy. Hook, wrong guy. Hook, middle, flat. We got 4 of the zones covered. But when in the boundary, let's say the ball is in to the boundary here, this hook and curl becomes one zone. Or you can say the curl and flat is becoming one zone. So you don't, or in this case, in this defense, for him, it'll be the hook and the curl becomes one zone. So basically, in cover 2, you're covering 5 of the 6 underneath zones. The problem is you only got 2 safeties covering 4 to 3 zones. I don't know if you want to call it 3 or 4. So you only got 2 covering 4 zones. So this is the issue with cover 2. That's the issue. That's why to me it's so important for everybody to understand as a defense where the weak spots are. Because I know my weak spots are here, here, and here. I can start planning for how to alleviate those weak spots. Okay? So that was regular cover 2. In regular cover 2, the corners are going to stay in the flat. They're probably going to try to reroute this receiver to go inside, so less displacement between these two receivers. If he makes them release inside, this delta is shorter than if he allows them to release outside. Now that safety's got to cover more ground. So if you're going to run traditional, old school cover 2, the corner has to be extremely aggressive, and this receiver can't beat him outside. He's got to come back inside. That is mandatory in old school cover 2. He has to come inside. So you're going to get 5 of the zones covered underneath, and the safeties are on the island. It's going to be difficult for them. Now, Tampa 2, the difference is almost 2 read. These corners are still pattern read number 2. What I mean by pattern read, and it's not totally like 2 read. If number 2 goes vertical, the corner has to sink underneath number 1. So the quarterback has to elevate the ball. Let me get this screen back up a little bit. So the quarterback has to elevate the ball to give the safety enough time to potentially get over. So if you ever heard anybody say about a hole shot, this right here is the hole shot. If the corner sink and the safety comes over, there's a little hole right here that a quarterback can put a ball on a 9 route. That's the hole shot. So it's very important for the corner to, 1, force him inside. This guy release, he's got to force him inside. And if he sees number 2 vertical, he has to sink to minimize this hole. So the quarterback just can't drill one in there. He's going to have to put some air on it because you're underneath it. Okay? The other thing for safeties, in a way I was taught, now I know there's different, I'm sure there's different variations now because offenses have changed. The safety has to be inside of number 2. So he's got to be inside IR number 2. So if he's inside of number 2 and he runs a corner route, he's beat by alignment. So the old, it's not just him, but this is who we played. The old Steve Spurrier favorite route was a smash route. Run a hook, run a corner. Okay? So this safety is in a bind, especially against Florida receivers back in the day. So this is a spot where the corner is so important. He has to get under this just in case to protect your safety, as he's going to be over the top, but he's going to be inside of it. Make the quarterback elevated. Make them throw this one. So then we're going to read the quarterback, and we're going to break on the ball, and we're going to limit it to a 5-yard throw. Does the safety line up different if it's a tight end instead of a slot receiver? If it's a tight end, for me, I think the safety still he can probably line up head up, but it depends, man. I don't want to give, I don't give my guys hard set rules, because if he feels like in a scout report that they're not going to run corner routes, and he might want to, they might run arrow slant. Maybe he want to line up outside. Get ready for the slant. It depends. But I wouldn't have no problem with him coming inside. Coming here. Unless this guy is split way out. Now they're trying to create room. Then I wouldn't. I would have him kind of split the difference a little bit. If it did that. Good question though. And that's not a hard set answer either. So Tampa 2, this is why I personally don't like Tampa 2. Because as Tampa 2, from what I've, in my knowledge of Tampa 2, I don't know if I've ever seen it in a 3-4. I'm sure you can run out 3-4. It's usually out of 4-3 where you got this linebacker. Let's see if I can get that B. You got 3 linebackers. And this guy here is a hole runner. He is getting pretty much, even with the safeties, he is a middle defender. So just imagine they run, back in the day, any ISO fake, play action, he's going to come here, then he's got to haul ass to get in the deep middle in case they do that. Because these safeties are coming off the hash. Because he's going to jam and sit. That safety got to prepare for that. So you got to have a dude right here. Like the Bears had Brian Urlacher. Tampa had, God, what's the guy's name? Derrick Brooks. Like Carolina had Luke Kuechly. You got to have a dude in the middle that can run. Not only that, he's got to be smart. Because he's got to read linemen to get a jump on if it's going to be play action fake or not. And so that's Tampa 2. The only thing with Tampa 2 is than the old school just cover 2 is this corner is going to sit. It's going to sink if number 2 goes vertical. The bad part about it though is he's not over the top of here. He's underneath it. So even a good pass can still beat that. So would that be a nickelback, or do you just, no, it's a middle linebacker. It's pure middle up. In a 4-3, it is your middle linebacker. If you're running true Tampa 2, the middle linebacker has to hold. And that is extremely difficult unless you got a dude there. And I, as a former Bear, Brian Urlacher was one of the best at it. He had Lovie Smith coaching there. He was one of the best. And it's kind of unfair because Brian was a safety in college. So he had the speed. Brian Urlacher actually returned kickoffs some in college. So that's how great an athlete he was. So it's kind of unfair putting that on him. But that's how you can run. I mean, even, see, now I'm going to get into something that I wouldn't even think about covering. There's so many variations, y'all. So like, you know what? Let me put them back. So like, there are coverages where you worry about this deep hole, where you actually, we call it 2-Sam, where this linebacker has a tight end man-to-man in a 4-3. The Sam linebacker has a tight end man-to-man. It eliminates, because back in those days, you had quarterback on the center. You had 2 backs. So in those days, 2-Sam, this was your potential hole shot. This guy. So if he's man-to-man, you eliminate kind of that middle. Because if this corner, if that X goes, or that'd be a whatever, Z, where you want to call it. If he goes for the corner route, the safety has it, right? So back in the day, we'll call two Sam. He's lined up man to man. You eliminate the middle hole shot. You still have these two, but they're not as weak. So there's so many variations, y'all, of cover two, but that would have been two Sam. But sometimes as a defensive coordinator, you know what the weakness is. So how can I eliminate it? If I got a dude right here that can eliminate him, why not play him man to man? Because especially in the run game, right? He can just come up and beat his ass up at the line of scrimmage. And if he tries to release, now you're already on him. And we just stay on him. And if he blocks, now you already got man, you can come in and wreak havoc. So, an old school pro set, I think two Sam was a viable option. But again, you had to have this guy right here had to be an athlete, though. He had to be able to cover tight ends. And back when I played, tight ends started to become really viable options. Now they'll become almost a freaking wide receiver. But when I played, and then they was just becoming, that was your Tony Gonzalez just starting to get there. Jason Witten came after me. They were starting to, I guess, highlight highly skilled tight ends that could run good routes. Now, they always pass a tight end, but these tight ends were almost receiver types. So you had to have a pretty good linebacker because he'll get ran by. Because this safety is not worried about this. All right. Other thing I didn't talk about earlier, and Anthony gets upset with me when I talk about this. So Tampa 2, I hope that covered Tampa 2 a little. So what I call cover 2 in college, we call it by colors. We call it blue. What we call blue was 2 read. So the difference in 2 read is, what up, Jeff? Is that the linebackers still have their hook and hook drops, right? The difference is this. The way I like to run it is you count the receivers. Number 1, number 2, number 1, number 2. This side, these two guys are only concerned with these two. These two guys only concerned with these two. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If this guy runs all the way across the field, he's going to go to a linebacker. If he runs deep all the way across the field, depending on what number 2 does, he's going to have to run all the way across the field with him. So there's, in Palms or cover 2, there is a man-to-man concept to it. Okay? So for instance, I wish I could just erase the board with one click. But at least I got these letters and stuff up here to a good point, because I don't have to draw this all over again every time. So, inside of number 2, right? So, let's say they run the 4 verts. Now, in Tampa 2, you remember, the corner was going to be underneath it, forcing the high. And 2 read, he's over the top. He's over the top. He's over the top. He's over the top. So 4 verts, there is no hole shot. In 4 verts. All right? I mean, there's no, I don't want to say this, it's still a hole shot, I guess, in Tampa 2. There is no possibility to throw a great ball to this outside receiver underneath this corner and over the top of the safety, because the corner is over the top of it. That to me is the advantage of two read. So I know we haven't gotten to this. So basically, that coverage transition from cover 2 to cover 4. No sideline catches allowed. No, you can. It's still a possibility. It's still a possibility. So, hey, y'all. Yeah. So, that's the difference. All right. Is that you're reading number 2. So, for example, let me just give some common routes. Again, a smash route. The corner is sitting. He's trying to get rid of that hole call, that hole shot. Same thing as Tampa 2. Right? 4 verses really the only difference. So we're reading. So if, let's say, this guy goes across now. Now we're pretty much bracketing this guy's a corner safety. He runs here. Safety's driving. Corner can get over the top in case he runs that. So it kind of turns into, if you know cover 4, that kind of turns into cover 4, right? We did the smash route. If they run double slants, once he goes inside, corner can sit, jam, safety can come. And this is why. Because remember, we only worried about number 1 and number 2. So if number 2 goes away, the only guy left for us is this guy. So we can be aggressive. We don't have to play Saul because we only got one guy to worry about. Again, these 2 guys are responsibility of these 2. So if number 2 goes across, right? Now what's going to usually happen is, I don't know how they run, but back in the day, if that guy's go across, they're going to probably go dig and then post. That's a old school popular route. So if they did that, right? Let's say they did that. So then the safety should be over the top of number 1. Because 2 went away. He got eyes on number 1. On this side, this safety should be carrying that all the way across. If they do that. 2 goes out. Corner sinks. And just in case they run a corner route with number 1, because what he's going to probably do is inside release, then stem up, then come across. Right? So on that inside release, he's got to settle just in case they do that. When he comes across and he sees quarterback, he can drive on the flat. Only when quarterback looks that way. We are going to make them throw it in the flats, especially to the wide side of the field. Now, with that said, I'm just thinking, y'all. Here's the great thing about, and I never ran the 3-4, y'all. Never was in that defense. But as a quarterback, which of these guys is going to the hook and which guy's going to the backside hook, which guy is a hole call? You don't know. I mean, you can do, like for me, let's say it is 3rd and 5, right? And let's say the boundary is here, right? What I would possibly do, the teams who like to go double hook, just have him just flash because we got corner and safety over the top. If they're gonna run double hooks, this linebacker on the line of scrimmage, and he just V-lines out to the flat. Quarterback sees up. Let me go further than that. Let's say this corner is playing a little deep. You get this linebacker here. Get to the safety. Get a linebacker there, right? You see nothing but free space over here. You see nothing but freedom. On the snap of the ball, he buzzes. You might be able to get him. Ben, you're right. Yeah, I don't remember that coverage, but yes. So, and here's the 3-4s. You don't know what's going to happen. That's why, for me, I like the 3-4. I mean, you can actually, with Deion Walker there, right? You can, in essence, I'm just thinking of what I could do. You can bring him. Buzz him to the flat. Buzz him to the hook. Now he got hooked. Right? There's also stuff where, let me get out of here. Now we just freelancing now. There's also stuff when I was in the Rams camp where, let's say this corner, and this is the other thing I like. If you can play cover 4, is you line up everybody about 9 yards from the line of scrimmage, and they don't know what the hell you're doing. They don't know if you're going to play cover 2. So now, let's say we in here, right? You flip this, and he gets the deep half. When you see that corner here, you think you got here, but this safety is screaming. There's all kinds of stuff you can run. But that's to me, if you can line these guys up 9 yards away, and you play cover 4, would you play cover 2 read? You should be able to play cover 4. Is you can get these safeties down, they're close to the box, and now you're not showing your coverage. You can play cover 2 from this. Your eyes on quarterback, if this is to the field and he runs a 5-yard hitch, that's like, and he's on the top of the numbers, that's like a 30-yard throw. If he's on the hash and throwing it all the way over here, you should be able to break a third of the distance. That's 10 yards. It's more like 20-something. So you should be able to break 5 to 7 yards. If your eyes on quarterback and you get a jump. Anybody have any questions? We call that Brad White. See, and that's the funny thing to me, Elliot, is like I showed the Michigan game and how people were lining up. Michigan had their corners lined up at 9 to 10 yards too. If I'm into the boundary, I'm probably not going to line up at 10. I'm probably going to line up at 8, maybe 7, because the pass is shorter. But to me, it's the same principle. In cover 2, I should never be afraid to get beat deep because I got a safety over the top. And in 2 read, for me, if we run a 2 read, I think you got to play deeper because you have to be able to identify what number 2 is doing. If you are so tight, if you have 5 and number 2 does something and go vertical, and now you're not sure if he's vertical, and this guy's by you. Because in cover 2 read, the safety ain't helping you. Because he has number 2. when 2 goes vertical. Now in Tampa 2, you can get away with it because his safety is getting off the hash in Tampa 2. But in Tampa 2, he's also making that whole shot bigger, potentially. Yeah. Well, don't think of number one as their best receiver. Think of that as just numbering people. Because sometimes, I'm going to tell you right now, it depends. I know as a corner, this guy is more dangerous to me than this guy. For me. That's just how I feel. That's just, it's a shorter throw. You on a linebacker. You off the line of scrimmage, so there's nobody that's going to come up and jam you. I think this guy here is the most dangerous. On top of that, you can scheme him open by motioning him. So now he can get another free release. Oh, well, look, I'm going to say this about Michigan. And I don't have facts on this, so I'm talking on the side of my face, but I don't think there's not too many dudes on that team that's going first round. That team is ranked number 1 because they were solid. As you said earlier, Elliot, they did their job. That team was extreme. They had a front 4 that was very good too. And then cover 2, you need, if you're dropping 7, your 4 got to get there. They just got to get there. All right. Here's another thing. This last thing, then we'll do some. We'll watch the film and see how that works. All right. So here's another thing. For example. So in cover 2, again, let's say he comes. All right. These hooks are a little bit bad, but let's just say he got hook. He's got hook. He's got middle hole, right? If the quarterback rolls out, you bump. You bump a zone because he's probably not going to throw back to there. Okay? So the other thing is, if you bump a zone, normally this guy can come out of coverage because this guy can bump to his hook. Got that? So then, quarterback rolls out. What you can do is, even in 2 read, the corner sits, but once that quarterback rolls out, he can come up because now this guy goes to the deep third, this guy goes here. Now it turns into cover 3 on rollout. Because he, especially in high school, you're just not good enough to throw across your body. Especially if he's throwing away from his throwing arm. So because of that, again, this linebacker can come up and pull him up. If he rolling, this guy gets, I don't know what they were, pull, and he gets, they say they crack and he gets pulled up. Someone got to come out of coverage. Then everybody shifts zones. So there's no reason for anybody being that flat. There's no reason for anybody being that backside curl. There's no reason for anybody really being that backside hook. This flat becomes an immediate danger. Now we get out of being number 1, number 2, and we just roll the coverage. Now it becomes, we describe later, next week or the week after, then turn into what we call 3 cloud. Oh, I'm off the screen with my writing. turn into a 3 cloud. So, did that help any? Give me some feedback. If there's any other questions, I'm going to give y'all a second. John, the deep zones, not really, because it could be 3 to 4. They just deep zones. I was never taught a name of them. They're just deep zones. The main thing, though, even with this, is I hope y'all understand how important the linebackers are. The linebackers are covering 3 out of the 6 zones underneath. So a lot of times people complain about the DBs being, oh my God, what? It's a lot of times it's the linebackers with poor drops in the nickelback. All these passes under 9 yards is usually on your underneath zone defenders. Blitzes. If you're gonna run a blitz, in my opinion, I'm not a defensive coordinator, so I don't know what's the thought process. I would probably go 2-man. So on 2-man, your safeties are playing halves, and then corner. You probably put a nickel back, then your linebacker. All right. Then you can run any kind of shit. You can blitz here. You can twist and bring him outside. Because everybody's man. So you can bring 5. You want to go 2-man. I'm not sure. All right. Let me just think about that, Elliot. I'm going to get to you, Steven. Ujin has contained each side of the line of scrimmage. So here's the thing that I really hate about cover 2. Let me move these guys back to the traditional alignment. Let's say the ball is into the boundary. This is the boundary, right? I'm going to try to line this guy up so y'all can at least see. Let's say this guy lines way out here. You can't see that, can you? He lines way out there, and this guy lines up here. In theory, the corner has contained. Look how much space that is. There's no way he can pull that up. You can blitz a corner. I'm not sure if anybody does this, but if I'm blitzing a corner, Ellie, I'll show you what I would do. So in theory, y'all, the corner has contained. And the corner to the boundary can easily get there. For me, this linebacker has to kind of play. If he's can't contain, he's going to have to spill. And whoever gets it, going to have to ride the hump big time to give this corner enough time to get there and make that tackle. So in theory, Steven, the corners have contained because they're the flat defenders. But in actuality, in real life situation, there's no way that corner, if he's into the field, is going to get there. So the backer, in my opinion, should have contained. Someone from Georgia has been saying that the new linebacker from Georgia is good on the run, but too slow in coverage. Have you heard? I have heard that, Brian. Here's the deal. In the 3-4 rerun, I think he's going to be fine. Because I don't think he's going to have anything but hook and whatever. We don't have linebackers that have to defend the deep hole on regular basis. So he's going to be fine. We also have 2 linebackers, right? So if we want to run 2 read, we can have D-Jack take care of a hook, Afari take care of a hook, and what's his name? Jones was JMJ or some JD, whatever. He can actually be part of a rush if you want, because you still got 4 to 6 covered. If you run 2 read, you run 2 read, you can bring them if you want. So Elliot asks, can you blitz the corner? If you're gonna blitz the corner, he's got to be in the boundary, and you can kind of run old school cover 2. Bring him. He's got to come not that far inside. He's got to come inside to influence that tackle. Now you can run some here if you want. And this linebacker can have the flat, and it's safe to get off the hash and we go into really an old school cover 2. He still has hook. Or he can middle hole run. He has hook. You can do that. Or if you want to. Now I'm just making shit up now, Elliot. If you want to. Let's see. If you bring him. Here. 1, 2, here. So you got 3 on 2. Then you can, in that case, you can bring him, have him cover hook. Like, there's just so many different options. So yes, you could bring the corner, but you're not running 2 read. You're running cover 2, and he's got to be in the boundary. It's definitely a possibility. For the 3-4, the advantage is you can create these crazy 3-on-4s, right? You can create these crazy 3-on-4s by lining him up tight. And now, which 4 are coming? You can drop, especially, I don't know if Ox can, but Dion can definitely drop, right? And you can go corner, linebacker. Now that's 3-on-2. They're putting these 2 big boys in a bind. Especially if Dion, he can't be too much with it, but if Dion engages and then drop, these boys got to respect him. One of them probably going to be the guard. When he drops and this guy comes in, this guy goes there, one of them is butt naked open. Or, now that I'm looking at it, y'all making stuff up. If Dion engages, you can bring him right here, bring that nose there. So somebody's got to block this way. Bring him here, drop. Somebody's free. He ain't going to be blocking anybody because he's got to respect that. Then when he retreats, now you got to tackle on 2. This, I'm going to say, this tight end is going to probably, they don't do tight ends. You can do that. So that's so many. The 3-4 give you so many options, y'all. This is why 3-4 is so good, right? Just show you. So Brad White does not need my help. So let's say we make that an E. Hey y'all, let's say we make that an E. So tight end, let's call this the strength. Let's just say we go 1, 3, 5, 5, right? Let's say we do that, right? They know who's coming, unless it's a blitz. They know that these 4 guys are going to pass rush. It's etched in stone, pretty much. They know they can set up their blocking. They can say, okay, if this linebacker comes on blitz, they can slide. They can do so many things because they kind of you have an idea of where the threats are. Okay? You just know. Because the 4-3, the picture is out in front of you. We're not doing too many crazy things in the 4-3 because typically I know that's a tackle. These defensive ends got to set the edge and they got to be able to pass rush. They're usually bigger people. They're not good in coverage. So you're really not worried about them coming out in coverage and you doing something exotic with the linebackers. And I learned this from when Coach Archer came back to Kentucky after being in Pittsburgh. He was like, yeah, I'm never going back to what we used to run just because of that. You don't know. You don't know. You know, you really have a good idea that probably these 3 are going to pass rush. But do you slide to this linebacker? Do you slide to that linebacker? You got 2 inside linebackers. You don't know you can run that, a twist like that. You just don't know which 4 are coming because here's the deal. With 3 linebackers, they're going to be pretty decent in coverage. So you can bring those 2 linebackers, but you still got 2 guys in the hook. See that? I just brought 5, right? I brought 5. I still got, in essence, in old school terminology, I got a flat, I got off the hash. I got 4 out of the 6 zones covered underneath. But I'm bringing 5. But you don't know which 5, though. See how I brought the 2 inside linebackers? And these guys can still handle hook. These 2. If you have like I said earlier, you got an athletic defensive tackle into the boundary, there is nothing problem with him hitting here. And then you can bring, see what you might want to bring him here, bring him inside, and bring him there. Right? So, do you feel like our guys bait the quarterback at all? Benjamin, no. Not at all. Look, man, and this is the hardest thing for people to understand, is that I can't coach you to be a playmaker. I can't coach you to be a playmaker, y'all. playmakers are born. A coach can enhance a playmaker's eyes, his knowledge, especially knowing where the weaknesses are. For me, I as a coach can really emphasize this is a weakness. So if you're going to do something as a playmaker, make sure you can cover these. As a corner, make sure you can cover this. If they run an arrow with a post corner or with a corner route, but you know this, you can take it, and you feel good that he's not going to throw it, come and make that. But you better not put your safety in a bind. You better have a real good film study to know that quarterback likes to throw that. So I'm going to go get me one. But you also know, so talking through this, if I'm into the field, I can really help my safety out because I want a bait, right? I can really help my safety out on that because I have enough time. And it's a hard, you can't count the yards, but I've said this on broadcast. If I know I'm on the wide side of the field, right? I know right now if they come out in a formation, why this guy keep going in? They come out in a formation and they like to run this route. I can say right now, how far, what yard line can I get on where I can cover here and possibly pick that? You got to have a feeling for that. Pre-snap. How far can I get? If that quarterback's shoulder's pointed here, I got to abandon that. I got to say, I got to stop the big play. But if the quarterback's shoulders is not pointing up and he's not looking here, he's like really eyeballing that a little bit, shoulders flat, I'm going to bait him. Boom, I'm coming. So it depends. I can't. There is a like I said, there are some people who can do that. Yeah, what's the guy's name? What's the new guy from Georgia name? I think his last name is Jones. He is a good look, y'all. This is what I want people to understand. And I know Marty Moore doesn't watch. But Marty Moore was not the most gifted athletic guy on the team. Marty Moore I don't know if he still has most tackles in school history. Marty Moore made big plays because of his ability to read what the offense is going to do pre-snap, and his reaction time post-snap was unbelievable. You don't have to have. I don't think DeAndre Square, as I've said many times, my favorite player in the Stoops era, I don't think DeAndre Square was the most athletic linebacker either. I think Jock Jones, and the Jones prior were more athletic gifted. But he played faster because he watched enough film, had an idea what the offense is going to run, and he's not reacting as much as somebody else. The reaction is still there, but he already has an idea. He's to minimize all the options. All right, y'all. Let's see if we can do this. So, all right. Let me go back to the thing because I didn't go over here. All right, y'all. So let's say, this is the other thing I didn't cover. I'm glad I saw it on the film. So let's say they go trips. So now, remember, number system. 1, 2. This is 1. This is 2. Now, this is my preference, y'all. These two guys are still only worried about these two. So now, this safety has to worry about number 2 only if he goes vertical. Okay? Because if he doesn't go vertical, he's going to get into one of these linebackers. So now there's 2 ways to play this. This guy can be locked up. You can tell in high school, I just say, you got to tell the corner that you are gone. So that corner knows once he sees trips, I'm man. Okay? Now, I have corners in high school now. This will be their next season, be their 3rd year under me. And a lot of them are 3-year starters. So now I think we both have confidence in each other. Okay? So what we can do is still, this safety still has number 2. That's why I like the number system. He still has number 2 if he goes vertical. So now, this corner, since he's experienced, he can look across the formation through the ball, through the uncovered lineman, and see number 2. Because all number 2 has to do is not go vertical. And he's never wrong by thinking he's got one man to man. He's never wrong. Okay? Here's the kicker. If you have a veteran group, which I think I'm starting to get, like I said, it's year 3. All right? Is that now we can play this almost like we're bracketing. I did that wrong. Did the wrong way. That we're bracketing number 1 if number 2 doesn't go vertical. So that means if number 2 goes here, this corner can jam the hell out of him. For people who like to run backside 101 slants or hitches, or they want to run a screen, we read that. So this corner can be aggressive. Even though you are worried a little bit about number 3 or number 2, you can be aggressive because backside, they like to run short stuff to get you one-on-one. So if we run cover 2, and if you can read that quickly, line about 7, see number 2 don't go vertical, now you can sit and beat him up because you know that this safety is coming back over the top. All right. So that takes me to the film. Because the first seemed like I don't know, Michigan motion out of stuff a lot. So we'll see. But I had to show that just in case. So Michigan right now is in trip. So we run a cover 2. This number 1. That's number 2. That's number 2. That's 1. Now, as a corner, if they're that tight, Dumas Johnson, thank you, Brian. If they're that tight, either they're trying to run cross mesh routes, trying to run cross, right? Or they're trying to open up space to the side and run maybe a flood route. Something like that. Don't know. So as a corner, widen your ass out. Make them come to you. I'm saying if we're in cover 2. So there's a corner here. There's a corner here. Then your safeties are almost where these 2 safeties are, right? All right, let's see what they run. Okay, so now, they motion. So now your number 2 comes to your side, right? So if I'm corner, and number 1 goes in, I am basically, and number one went in early. That's to a linebacker. I'm basically now, me and him are doubling this guy. Watch. Boom, boom. I can sit. I can be aggressive. Linebacker should be here. That's the hook. All right, I kind of like it better if I go to the board. Let's see what routes they run. Y'all tell me, is it better to do it like this or go to the board? So now up top here, he goes out, he goes in. Corner has to sit for a second once he stopped. Now he can settle. This guy's not a deep threat. Safety should be working over the top of him. Hello, sorry, buddy. I want to offer. Oh, man. Oh, Brian said he likes the film. Okay. So, Brian, the Washington team isn't affecting your eyes because they're not playing cover 2. All right. So, corner. I'm here. I'm trying to dissect. Number 2 is not going vertical. Now, I can sit. Safety says number 2 is not going to go vertical. I can get on number 1. I can sit. Linebacker should be here in the hook. Should have linebacker in the hook. This corner should be outside. Backpedaling. He hitches. He can come downhill. Is that clear for y'all? Let's see what they run, y'all. I'm going to do both. Motion. They switch. They just switch. They run all hitches, curl. Let's see. Let's see if this works. Let's see if I can remember. So they had a bunch. And they brought this guy in motion. And they ran. They ran out, hitch, hitch, hitch. All right. So let's say we bring that linebacker. He's pushing to that hook. He's pushing, well, let's say we bring 5. He's pushing to that hook. This corner is sitting. When number 2 goes inside, he can drive. And this corner should be driving there. This safety should be over the top. Now that makes sense. Number 2 went out. We can start sitting. Number 1 went in. We can start sitting as a corner. Because we should be bracketing him. Both of us. If we both read that this is not a vertical. Okay? On this side, you got to be a little careful because he did stem vertical for a minute. He went out. You got to sit for a second, but outside in. Once he hooks up, you can drive. This is in 2 read. All right? Let's see if I can erase without killing my stuff. All right? So that's how you cover that route. Does that make sense? We'll do this. It is. We'll go some more. Punch again. But they run. Okay, now this is a bitch. Let me see what they running. Okay, so they run motion, and they seem like they're running switch route. He's coming to the flat. Let's see what he's doing up top. He's probably running post. Yep, that makes sense. See, y'all. So, y'all, I didn't know what the play was, but it's football is football. When he came over and they ran a switch route, what can he run and still be a viable option? He's going to run a dig. So they got layers. They're trying to run people off with these two. They're going to try to force some eyes with this. They can get that, they'll take it. If there's nobody out there, they're going to take it. That's easy money. If not, someone's got to respect this. If they don't, you take that. If they respect it, you got this on a linebacker. See, this is almost like supposed to be a screen route because he's behind the line of scrimmage. I wonder, because this looks almost kind of like a little bit of a block. So they got the doubles. All right, so I'll do this on the screen. So we got the doubles, bunch doubles, right? We got the bunch doubles. Right. So the rules are if number 2 goes vertical, when they switch, now this becomes, it doesn't matter. That's 1, that's 2. They both vertical, we're over the top. So those 2 are taken care of, right? So when number 2 goes away, corner can sit. Safety should be inside because he should be inside number 2 on alignment. So that means he's going to be inside number 1. 2 goes away. You driving this. Now this is the problem. And cover in 2 read. Because that corner has to go with the 2 verts. Linebacker has hook. That's a tough play for him. And 2 read. That's tough. But you can't stop everything. But he should be able to see that when he goes to hook. He's getting out leverage. He should be able to read quarterback and make a drop, and everybody else just rallies. They will catch it. How much they're going to get out of it, I'm not sure. Boy, I wish I could just erase. Maybe I can. I don't know. No. Nope. So that's on that route. We'll do a few more. We'll go to Washington first series. So we bunch. We went trips. All right. So in 2 read, this side, once this guy blocks, we're playing in and out. Right when he blocks, we're playing in and out at safety and corner. This is easy to cover. This right here would be perfect for 2 read. All right? There's nothing open. Well, there's nothing open in this option either. But we'll show how in 2 read we'll do it. So we bunch tight end, tight end. That tight end off the line of scrimmage? Okay, he is off the line of scrimmage. And he ran a here, and clear out. Let's try to get my bearings, y'all. So on this one, we ran a little bit of a bender, ran vertical, and we block. Once he block, this corner can jam, sit hard. He has him over the top. The corner can run a little bit with him because there's no number 2 going on the route. So he can jam and then sink and look for something coming. Sink, knowing the safety's over the top, look for something coming the other way. Safety has 2 vertical. He has him. If 2 vertical, 1 has him vertical. That's actually easy, y'all. These are the ones as this backside corner that you start loving it. Because once he blocks, once this guy sets and blocks, you can be extremely physical. Because he's got to be over the top. So what happens is, if he clears out and that safety has him, once I kind of see as a corner, okay, my safety's got him. Now I'm looking for that. If this quarterback is reading here to here, he will never see you. Those are times where you hit here and you see his eyes and you can go get you one. Because this is not technically your responsibility. Remember, we only worry about number 1 and number 2. This is why, who asked earlier about being a playmaker? That's why, talking about, I think he's tipping on hand. This is something you can't coach. But as a corner, number 2 is eliminated. We only worried about him. If he runs a vertical and my safety can't cover him, that's not my fault. Especially if I jam him, now make it even extra easy on him to be able to stay over the top. When I jam him and number 2 ain't coming, and there's the only threat to my side, let's say they run zone away and he drops back, the only threat to my side is anyone coming across. Now I can play football. Now I can go get one. I can't coach you that though. I can't tell you, hey, go get you one. I can help you say, hey, if number 2 doesn't block, if number 2 blocks, you only got to worry about 1. Remember, you only got to worry about 1. You can jam him. You can help your safety. Or you can try to find some work coming from somewhere else. So in cover 2, with that guy blocking, this corner can settle and read eyes. Read the shoulder. Here's the thing. The eyes can lie to you. The quarterback can be focused this way, but typically his shoulders not. The shoulders can't be pointed this way and him throw that way. Unless you Stafford and Patrick Mahomes, they can throw the no look, but many quarterbacks can't. All right, now watch. We'll run some of this. Ooh, they still buttons too. Empty backfield. There's so many adjustments to empty. If they empty, y'all, so it's empty. The linebacker has to bump to 3. He has to carry 3 vertical. So whatever linebacker has to carry, so now it's almost like Tampa 2. He has to carry number 3 vertical because these 2 guys are not responsible for him. Right? They send everybody out. So middle linebacker bumps to 3. We got Hook. He's sitting perfect. Man, this is not cover 3. I see him. Sit, corner. Look how deep he is, y'all. Look how deep he is. But we the only ones that play like this. Look how deep he is. 2 doesn't go vertical. Corner can sit. 2 doesn't go vertical. Safety can peer to number 1 in case he does that. Corner should be about right here. He stops. He can drive. Remember, because he's got a safety over the top. This is another thing, y'all. This relationship, I'm telling y'all. I played with a guy named Reggie Rush. I played with Melvin Johnson, and I played with Reggie Rush. Melvin Johnson will come up and kill somebody. Reggie Rush had my back. So on this, was Reggie, Reggie might be one of the fastest on the team at free safety. Right now, this is what I'm thinking about. He stops, and I am aggressive. He runs that. I have total confidence in Reggie Rush that he will cover my ass. That's why you also have to know the guys you're playing with. I knew he can cover. He can cover ground. So for me, I had like right now, quarterback shoulder is not dictating. He's left-handed. He's not dictating where he's going to throw. But I see this, and I see that, and I'm here. Oh, I have put on the brakes, and I'm ready. Okay? For here, I'm not worried about number 3. He's my number 1. He's my number 2. Number 1 ain't no problem. I'm sitting. Right now, I put the brakes on. If he runs this, I'm coming because I got a safety over the top. So now we got, okay. Now close formation. Tight end, corner can get real tight. Now your safety can be over the ball because we only got 1. This your 2. It makes it even easier, right? So this corner can easily stay here and say, I'm going to take that tight end, man. So he can tell the safety, you can tell him, lock, I got him because he's a tight end. I'm not worried. So then you can worry about the safety. You can worry about number 3. And if he goes nothing but vertical, then you can come help out over here. Again, if the safety's here, they only worry about this one and this one, right? Number 2 looks like he's vertical. The corner has to be over the top. 2 is vertical. 2 is, now he's bending away. This is even better. See, if it was old school cover 2, you have to have that linebacker there. But in cover 2 read, the safety is going to be inside of number 2 anyway. He's got that, so he's not running away from it. The corner's over the top of number 1 vertical. Number 3 went vertical, so the backside safety is eyeballing that. He can take that if he wants. And they run a corner route. That's a difficult one. But that safety, remember he's over the ball, and 3 went vertical. He manning up. Right? Because 3 went vertical from the start. Number 3 is vertical. That's you as a safety. It's a hard one for you because he's running away from you. So now we got linebacker in the hook, linebacker in the deep middle, linebacker in the hook. He's here. He will expand. I think the quarterback rolls, right? Does the quarterback roll? So the quarterback rolls. So that changes a little bit, right? Quarterback rolls. Corner sink. Now he got flat. this guy, so now it helps with this 3 going across. Sink, backside safety goes deep middle, corner going away is deep. So now, what did they run? They ran him here. Then they go vert here. Let's see. Yeah. They went vert. So now this safety is going to have that corner is here. He's going to help on that flat. This backside safety going to be over the top. Corners over the top. You still got that hold call. But this corner should be about right there. So he can help on that. This is a damn good route if they have time. I mean, it's a damn good route here. Number 11 is butt naked open, as I remember this now. He is open. I don't know why he didn't throw it to him. That's a good route against any defense. Except man. So then doubles with a tight end. Let's go work this side down. Let's work this side down here first. So as a corner, with all this dancing, I got to shuffle a back pedal because he is threatening. He is stemming vertical for a little bit. So I'm selling. Safety should be inside of 2. He should be getting depth. Once he goes out, I'm a corner. The safety should be coming off the hash anyway. I can sit. I can jam if I want, but I can drive because the safety's got number 1. Once number 2 goes out, safety got to get off the hash. This is the toughest one as a safety because number 2 fake stems vertical for a little bit. Once he goes vertical, you got to run your ass off the hash. Because as a corner, I'm trying to get that one. So let's run up top. With 2 vertical, I'm sitting because you can get that. And that safety's got to get, he's inside of number 2 already. See that? See what number 2 ends up doing. He runs a corner route. So the corner will be here. If he's going to throw it there, we react and make that tackle. All right, y'all. I got another minute. We're going to call it a day unless y'all have questions. If they go to quads, I'm checking out. Whatever we deem our check is, we're going to check. So going quads is a tough one, especially in bunch. So we got trips up top. No, that's not trips. That's doubles up top. Corner should be outside into the boundary. Safety's over the top. He motions out. You are coming. The reason why, because he doesn't go vertical. The safety should be able to go to the top. You should be screaming downhill right now. Well, Brian, I appreciate you watching. Brian, go to sleep, brother. See, y'all can watch this later. I know you can't comment, but and cover and that shouldn't go nowhere if you make tackles though. The other team is on scholarship too. All right, let's go top. 2 stems vertical, but 1 goes across now. Right? You settle. Two's vertical. You're gonna help that safety on a corner route. Safety's over the top. Let's see what happens. See if he just goes vertical. So if he goes vertical, right? Well, he missed him. He goes vertical. Our safety is going to be inside. So that's not open. And with number 1 going across, our corner should sit because there's no other threat. He's coming here. There's no other threat, right? Linebackers have the hook. This is a linebacker. What are they running down the bottom? So right now, 2 vertical. Corner's got to sit. He's got to sink. He got to sink. He got to sink. He's got to keep sinking and protect against that. Make him throw it here. You got to sink outside. Watch quarterback eyes and shoulders. All right, Steven said, what would the language for a call on the field between players be for cover 2 in your day? What would some of the calls be? So, shit, is the only one China? We'll call China for the linebackers on the smash route. We'll call smash route. Smash route is, let me go to the whiteboard. Smash route of China is, it can be hitch, corner. It can be arrow, post corner. So we're China because we're coming here. Linebacker could get out that hook and help with that if he can. So that's some of the blitz packages of terminology. Whatever the blitz was, Steven. There was no at that time, whatever was the coach called a blitz. I can't remember blitz calls when I was playing. When I played, the formations were face cards. So ace, queen, jack, king, face. Those were the formations, and the coverages were colors. So we had green, white, black, blue, gold, purple, yellow. Those are our terminologies. So like, if I remember correctly, blue was cover 2, green was cover 3, cover 4 was orange. I'm confused with white and black. I think black was 6. I don't remember what white was. I don't remember what white was. Gold was single high safety, man in the knee. Those are things I can remember off the top. I remember that was almost freaking 30 years ago. I'm surprised I can remember that much. So those were the colors. Would you check out of it pre-snap for? It depends, Steven. It depends. Depends on the opponent and their tendencies. Sometimes you would check out of it. Sometimes you just play it. It depends week to week. Sometimes trips we would check out of blue and go to orange. We can handle trips better in orange with lock at the backside safety. I mean the backside corner. They don't play man to man. Or you can lock the play side corner and bracket. Man, see now I'm just talking. And this is it, because we're not there yet. But I'm gonna give you a sneak peek into cover 4. See, last time I should have probably erased. So in cover 4, if they came in trips, you can keep. Now you got cone on him, which is in and out on him. What you do is you lock this corner. Let's say you had a nickel out here. Now this nickel and this safety are playing like this is the coverage, and he's the corner. Now he becomes the corner, not the safety. You eliminate him, you are bracketing him, and you playing the coverage on those number 1 and number 2. You can do that. So that is very good against teams who like to bubble screen, because this guy can come up and press because this guy's on line of scrimmage, and you can eliminate the tunnel screen. Other bubble. You know, like Tennessee likes to come out and block. Him get here, block here. Now, if he's in man-to-man, he see that, he's coming right away anyway. So, it depends, Steven. Depends on who you playing, who the OC is, what's their tendencies. You can actually change your adjustments at halftime. Say, okay, guys, when they come in trips, we work on orange. That ain't going to work no more. We're going to go purple or black. So, give me thumbs up if you guys got some out of it. As we say on the locker, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, myself and Anthony White. You go to YouTube, like the broadcast, share the broadcast, comment, do all that good stuff. And I appreciate you. I like this. I don't know what we're going to do next week. We might want to switch it up and do something else. Might look at one of these transfer guy highlight film or something. Or we might go into cover 3. I might do another poll and y'all can help me decide on if we're going to watch a player or we go some more coverages. Again, don't think what I just told you was 100% accurate. That's how I would run it. Oh, Steven, see, you just showed your age. I was born in 70, so I don't know about that Coach's TV show. That's pretty cool if they had something like that. So I'm glad y'all got something out of it. I hope more people get something out of it. If you got something out of it on Twitter, give me a positive tweet on this broadcast. If you're on YouTube, give me a positive comment on the broadcast. So then maybe we can just keep doing this. Because I don't mind doing it. Especially since I got this nice whiteboard set up. I just can't freaking erase like I want to. Hold up. I can, y'all. Oh, snap. I messed up. I thought if I erased, that it would erase the circles and stuff. That's pretty cool. So now, I can do this so much better. Can I get the eraser stroke bigger? No, I can't. That's the biggest. If I could get that, if I can get this eraser, get a bigger thing, I can. That's pretty cool. So now, I'm not, I was afraid of getting rid of the circles and stuff. Now, I just screwed my. I learned tonight something, y'all. I'm learning this Microsoft Whiteboard is new. So I think I did a decent job at least putting the stuff out there so you can see it. And now, next week, I can just go right to it. Again, appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a good rest of your weekend. Hope the Cats win tomorrow. And we'll talk about what we're going to do and show next week. Appreciate the suggestion. And V-Styles out.